We should be live. We
And
are live.
I'm sitting there, and the tailor is, we got the pants on, and they're looking really nice, but I'm not that hipster guy. And I'm like, dude, these pants are just like they're killing me here. And he's like, what's the problem? I'm like, they're like a cheap ass hotel. And he's like, what are you trying to say? I'm like, there's no damn ballroom.
It's almost as bad as when your tailor tells you, jack it off, and you become a sex offender. Woo! What is going on, everybody? It's Thursday night, and that can only mean many things. But to us, it means brand new live figure action coming at you live, once again, from YouTube. But for how long? We'll get to that at the end of the show. Anyway, if you are watching us here, make sure you drop us a like. Kilpasa, slam that like button if you would. If you're not already, make sure you're subscribed. We are trying to get ourselves up to 1,000 subs, slowly but surely, so we can do cool stuff like going live from mobile.
And I've been eating blue subs today. Let me tell you, I'm going to get that 1,000 one way. Never mind.
And of course, if you are already subscribed, make sure you've got that notification bell clicked, so you can see when we have additional content. Got a lot of cool stuff coming up. Got a lot of cool stuff coming out. So we are sure to have some extra stuff coming at you very, very soon. I'm your host, Extra Zero, and joining me are two of the normal characters, T-Man 978, True Star Screamer, and ripped from our traditional chat section, our good buddy, Nathan Simmons.
We just took him from over there.
Yeah,
right over there.
So now nobody's in there talking, are they?
Glad to be here, guys.
He's in there. How did that? It's Nateception. That's all. That's all I can say. Anyway, it's been an all right week for me. I missed last week's show, and I hopefully have some nice developments coming for me where work is going to lighten up quite a bit and allow me to do a lot more on the channel. So keep some fingers crossed, keep some good vibes from me out there. It's within the same company, so we'll see. We'll see. As for me, let's get my stuff out of the way real quick.
Zero, what did you get this week?
All right. So it's getting close to the most magical season of the year. So my collecting habits have got to take a backseat so I can start getting gifts. But I did treat myself to the Lightning Collection Black Power Armor Ranger, Walgreens exclusive, and I got this dude, courtesy of the Chosen Prime. This is MMC Fraudo, which if he had ab crunch, would be a contender for figure of the year for me. Really, really, really good.
There's no way like pull it up and bend it over or anything?
No. So like the way it pulls up here, there's absolutely no way that he can have an ab crunch. I mean, they feasibly could have put one in here. And I mean, the way he's got those sort of hips where you can fake it, because of the way the skirts are. And he's got, really excellent range of motion on his legs and his knees. And I love the toe tilt. They did some really clever stuff with this guy and how they engineered his feet, how it like forms the combiner foot, like how everything here rocks out. Just really, really, really impressed with this set. I watched our buddy Pake's interview with the designer, and there's just so much thoughtful stuff that's going in to these all-in combiners, and I'm really excited to see what they do with their Defensor next. But if you haven't picked this guy up, retailers are getting them. I got mine from the Chosen Prime. Agabus should probably have him, and very, 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 very well worth your time. Fun transformation too. It doesn't have a ton of paint, but I kind of like that because it's, flip them back and forth.
Like $100 figure.
I think he's less than $100 actually. I think he's like an $80 figure. So does he feel like it? Yeah, he feels every bit as good as any of the MP cars. To be quite honest with you. He's very solid. I mean, he's made on par with he feels very much like the reformatted plastic, which is great because if you have a combiner, you want it to be sturdy, you want it to be solid. Everything's, I mean, really, like.
But you don't want so much die cast that it collapses in on itself.
Absolutely, yeah. I do wish there was some die cast in here because I mean, this guy's going to be a leg,
Exactly.
but I have the Zeta Bruticus, so I bought him to be my bot mode. So again, I think he looks spot on as Swindle. And having seen the Onslaught in person, having seen the Blast Off in person, owning the Vortex, yeah, I'm like really stoked on the set. I'll probably combine them for the novelty when I get it, but they're going to stay in bot mode on my shelf.
I think they'll be I think you'll be impressed with them combined because I said when I gave that one the shaken baby syndrome, I was very impressed with it.
Got some commentary from Sony in there. All
Hi,
right,
Sony.
So
he's my drinking buddy.
Who wasn't your drinking buddy that weekend?
that was.
I mean,
yeah.
Dave, how the hell are you? And what were the coolest things you got this week?
I'm doing pretty well. It's cold in NC, but which is good for me because I'm fixing fireplaces. Stuck up my eyebrows. Only had one flare up. Only one. Hey, Sportimus. Only had one propane flare up in my face, which was always cool. This week's acquisitions are actually a little on the light side. I only got one thing. I got her from Amazon, and I actually ordered her about a month ago. Yes. I actually ordered her a month ago when they were having a very good sale of these, and I did get it from T-Man 978's Links because he always has good deals.
T-Man, you're selling Russian brides now?
Yeah. Sorry, I had to find out like this.
But I got my Kimberly. I got my Kimberly from Lightning Collection.
Yeah. And her arm didn't break off?
Her arms did not break off. They're close, but I'm glad I got her. But this is probably, and I hate saying it, especially being a female figure, being the weakest of the line. But there's things I like.
Yeah.
There's things I like, but there's a lot of things I don't. I mean, I was really hoping we'd get some double jointed elbows. I thought this would be the chance.
The only issue I have with the Lightning Collection so far is a lot of mine loose hips.
Her hips are tight, baby. That and her weapon should have been in the Dino Dagger mode, not in Blaster mode.
They all are. They're all.
I know that is a nitpick for me.
You know what you could do if you have any of the legacy ones around still. You could just take the Dino Dagger.
I think it's still too large.
Is it?
I think it is because they were 7-inch figures.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's a little bit bigger.
Yeah, I would at least think.
And their hands stretched out enough already. I'm a little worried about those, but then she's got like two colored. I can't remember if T-Man mentioned on his review, but she's got like two colored plastics.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and they for whatever reason they molded that her belt pink, and they caked on white paint, and it seems universal.
But I still have to say the one thing that gets me about every one of the impeccable detail is they sculpted the dinosaurs on their belt buckles perfectly. I mean, I look at this, I see the pterodactyl. That's one thing you got to give credit to the Hasbro designers for.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they did. They did a really good job.
I mean, I've had some heavy weeks. My backlog though is still insane. I know I put, so I gotta.
Can we share the picture of your backlog being broken down?
Yeah, actually, if you have it on there, please do.
All right, let me see if I can pull this up here.
It's not as, I mean, I got it stacked up even better now in the room, but I had to have my assistant help me out on pulling everything out just so I could freaking move in this room. It's gonna be time. I'm gonna be going for a near purge.
Border. That's when you call it borderline border.
Well, that's one of the reasons I make an appointment at one of my local stores to sell off some stuff, just because the my local dealers. I mean, the local market here isn't all into everything I collect, so. As I stuff.
Borderline went out the window a long time ago.
Oh, you have to use that picture.
well, he's not here tonight, so we have to at least have a remnant of our good buddy.
Put my girl up. That's not. Put my baby girl up, which is like
All
3
right.
pictures down.
All right, let me see if I can find.
I already knew he was going to.
Dude, you have no idea. That actually ticked me off. That is not Matt's little girl. That is my little girl. He's got a son. He's proud of his son. That is my girl.
We need the true Star Screamer hat.
She's got
She
the
likes
hat.
Matt better than you, then.
There you go. There's
There's my girl.
There's the other picture.
And she organized all of that stuff. She's like, I'm setting up a little store. She got my Predator, and it was the funniest thing if you listen to her. She does. She was like, okay, X-Men over here, Transformers here, Predators over here. It was one of the funniest things hearing that coming from a 7-year-old talking about the Predators.
Yeah, I gotta get to my local toys, like one of my local toy shops, and see if they'll just take the Chug stuff I have, because I just want to get rid of the Combiner Wars and the Titans Return, and
yeah,
But I'm gonna sell the combiners on eBay just because I know those combiners are they go for quite a bit.
I think the only thing I'm going to keep from Chug might be the Jetfires, just because they are cool. That's about it. But yeah, that's my week.
Right on. All right, T, how about you? How the hell are you doing? And what'd you get?
I'm spectacularly worried, but try not to be.
I don't think that's gonna happen, sport.
What I got, and I think I put it on this channel, and a little bit of people watched it. I got the McDonald's changeable.
I'm so jealous.
Prize number 1. So remember that. I doubt if they'll go digging through there to find the number.
How did you like? I know it's like prize number 1. It says like 1987 on it, but did you like ask them anything special other than that?
I asked the girl. I asked her how much is a Happy Meal toy, which she said like 60 cents or something like that. Then I was like, "Is there any way I could get the hamburger one?" And she was like, "Well, they're like surprises, blind bag or whatever." But then whoever got my food, they just brought out the right tube. Well, they got me this Hot Wheels car, and this happened to be the right one.
I got the Hamburglar and I got the car. I like the car, but I want that burger. If someone can hook me up with the burger, please.
I have a 1987 one here. See, no hollowness.
No. The one that T has, the original one, did have hollowness.
This is the original one.
No, that's a different mold than what he has.
This is the Big Mac.
There's
a hamburger and a cheeseburger.
There's a Big Mac, there's a Big Mac and a quarter pounder.
Oh,
I got the fries over there, and the hotcakes are floating.
Nate, what were you saying?
So I got a Luigi out of mine. I got 4 of them. So T's gonna get one regardless if he wants it or not.
I'm gonna have a pile of McDonald's toys over here. I think that one came out last year.
Yeah.
I also got Professor Xavier finally. Like when you don't buy stuff and your fans just send you stuff so you'll finish the collection.
Yeah, I wish I had an active YouTube channel.
Yeah, that might be a good idea. Well, not recently.
I know.
But Professor Xavier. But the highlight of my week, or since last Thursday, I should say, I also got this guy. A naked dude.
That is so wrong.
Dude, the things he's been doing with that figure is so wrong.
It is.
Come with me if you want to leave.
No, I wouldn't trust him for a mile.
Since he's dressed underneath of this cloth.
Dude.
You want to see what's under the blanket? Not really.
But I didn't know
He's
how they
coming back.
had like a multi-layered situation going on with this effect right here. It's like
I'm not a big
transparent
fan of that
white.
effect.
You know,
I'm not a big fan of that effect because of the way it is. Wish they would just give him like something a little more like a clear plastic thing, like a dome kind of thing where he just sits on top of it.
That might be boring. This looks like at least air is coming out. He's taking off. You might be
Yeah,
able
but
to
it's the
use
wrong
this
color.
for fun.
that was one of my first major repaints. Was actually repainting that.
This effect?
No, the whole chair.
Oh. You could do it like this for Storm or whatever. But that's it. Nate, you're up next.
Oh,
You got
crap.
everything.
I got a ton of stuff, like always.
Yes.
First thing, got to show stuff that T-Man sent me, which I've not even opened yet.
Holy
First
Ooh.
up was the TFCon exclusive. Thank you for going and picking this up for me. Bedrock, which is otherwise known as Bulkhead. Got that one. I still need to open it. And you are not kidding, dude. This box is freaking heavy. This Hulk is like 10 pounds in a box. Like, I don't know how the box doesn't like fall apart. I really don't.
Yes, if you're buying that Hulk for somebody, don't agree to send it for free.
Exactly. It is a little weighty. Let's see. I got more stuff like always. I did get the Family Matters 3-pack. Dave got my other one for.
Not to say.
Did you get it for $40?
It.
I hope.
Huh?
Did you get it for $40? I hope.
I sure did.
Okay.
And I bought yours for 50.
I'm sorry, Amazon dropped the price.
I know.
The reason
I'm teasing.
I needed a Quicksilver for X Factor because now that
Yes.
all the X Factors are out, you gotta have a Quicksilver. And I needed a Magneto to go for the Wolverine shelf. So I'm gonna work on a custom to have it where Magneto is ripping the adamantium out of Wolverine. So with that 3-pack of Bone Claws, that'll work perfectly.
I was actually trying to figure out how to do the blood effect. Like I was thinking about actually taking cellophane or saran wrap and putting it over his fists, and then taking hot glue to make that to be like blood, and then paint them red to do the whole like Wolverine 75 infamous moment of Slurch.
Yep.
God, I remember reading that back in the day.
I still have it. I want to make it to where he's got the actual gloves. So you remember how he had the wraps around his hands with the bone claws? I want to figure out how to do that, and I don't want to use tissue paper, because you need something really thin. You need a really, really thin one. So I'm gonna play around, figure out how to do it.
Bandage tape.
I got this little guy.
Tape.
That's true.
I don't think
this is the was it Mech? The Mech Vance Toys oversized Evil Lord, which is really a fun toy to play with. Yeah, this is actually bigger. They made it like 2 or was it 3 centimeters taller than the original Iron Factory one. So this is pretty much a deluxe class now.
I can't believe the original was smaller than that.
Oh yeah, it was shorter. And then I actually got a Grail in this week. You guys saw the picture already. But I got some old ones.
Oh yeah.
The Takara 2010 versions of Primus and Unicron.
I used to want that.
So,
that's the latest that's the repaint.
The This one is the e-hobby version.
Right.
So it's for both e-hobby to get through. And I had that 25th anniversary one from Amazon, which had but little bit better colors. But I actually like that Unicron colors better on this one. But yeah, that's all I got this week. Been busy. T and I's been real busy this week with YouTube.
Well,
Yes.
Well, we seem to have lost our main moderator. So I know we were going to talk. The three of us initially, because I know you hadn't seen it, we're going to talk Mandalorian, but I think we're going to table that for a little bit until Zero gets back.
Speak of the devil, and he shall return.
Oh, there he goes.
Yeah, sorry, I am.
And we're going to be taking over the show. And son of a.
Yeah, I was trying
Zero,
hard.
is that you?
Yeah, I know. I'm so unfortunately I'm multitasking. I'm actually working while doing a podcast. Go figure. But I mean, if you guys want, we can talk about the YouTube changes. You know, before we do, actually, there is one thing I want to plug that I should have plugged in the beginning of the
our t-shirts
of the show. Yes, make sure you visit the Figure Action Facebook page, and I believe on the Facebook page there is a link to our Teespring site. Our shirts are actually priced pretty cheap. We're trying to get our brand out there, trying to make our shirts affordable. We're probably one of the cheapest podcasts out there to pick up a shirt for. So please visit our Teespring site. And actually, let me double check here. If you can just search for Figure Action on Teespring and find us there. And sure enough, you sure can.
Older than mine, but
yeah. So if you go on the Teespring site and just do a search for Figure Action, you'll be able to find the Figure Action Vice T-shirt in all its glory. And you can get it in a lot of different. Regular one is a mere $12.57. You can get the Comfort Tee, which I got, and it's pretty damn good quality for $15. There's a premium for $16, a hoodie for $31, a pullover hoodie for $21 or for $22. We've got women's shirts and mugs. So
we got a mug.
Be sure if you're interested to do a search for us.
And if you
I gotta get
remember, ladies, tag us on Instagram, Figure Action Photography. If you in that shirt,
and we're known as the FAP Shop. So if you go on there, you can find us under the FAP Shop. Another thing too, if you are in the DMV area, go ahead.
I was gonna ask a question. Who titled it the FAP Shop?
That's a funny story, actually. One, it was Joe, but two, when we were trying to, so anybody that goes way back to our first shows, when we were trying to get this thing going, our buddy Adrian helped us with spitballing the name, and early on, I think it might have been Matt that realized if we're Figure Action and we're Figure Action Podcast, we're going to stand for FAP, and people might think that we kind of just embraced it.
It's not like we just sit here and stroke our own egos every week. Wait, we do.
Yeah. And I think one of the funny things too, it's like, if you're our show chat, like if anybody isn't in the know, like friends and all, we basically have a FAP chat.
Yeah, shit. I had a screenshot and somebody's like, why are you in a group called FAP chat? Boy.
But I know, it's kind of like you gotta embrace the absurdity of things, I think.
I'm still waiting for someone to walk in and go, this is not what I was expecting.
Right. Well, if you want to meet the FAP crew and you didn't make it out to TFCon Reston and you are in the DMV area, DMV meaning DC, Maryland, Virginia, on December 7th in the White Marsh area, specifically the Avenue at White Marsh, from 11 to 3. We're going to be doing a DMV action figure collector meetup. I've got the event posted on both the DMV Action Figure Society and the Realm of Collectors Facebook groups. So in the coming weeks, we're going to be pimping out this invite. It's going to be at Bar Louie. Again, White Marsh, Maryland, Bar Louie, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Anybody that can make it out, really would enjoy seeing you. Anytime we've done these meetups, it's always been a great time. In fact, this all kind of came together because of the meetups.
Nightwing them. That's all I can say.
Nate Simmons going to be there.
I'd be impressed
come
if
all
Nate,
the way to Maryland.
if Nate flew out from Cali. But then if Nate flew out from Cali, that would actually be a good opportunity for him to sell some stuff because, you know, all the shipping. Well, granted, you have to check all those bags. But, you know, the cool thing about the meetups, you're welcome to bring any figures you want to show off or share with folks. You're welcome to bring anything you might want to sell or trade. But you don't have to. The most important thing that you bring is yourself, a good attitude, have a good time. So, you know, again, check the Realm of Collectors Facebook page. Check the DMV Action Figure Society. If you're not a member of either, I recommend you join both. Good groups, good people. Check them out. And that's the end of my spiel there. So, we're going to talk some Kappa?
Why not?
I'm feeling it.
Talk to Kappa.
You Kappa,
We can talk
Kappa
man.
feel.
Look,
I'm gonna spoil it for me. I'll still watch it.
Well,
the apocalypse is
That should be
upon
the
us.
title for you.
oh, you cut out there, Nate.
I'm messing around, if you're wondering. I'm messing around in the StreamYard for the first time.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to do anything.
So, I mean, I'll just
That's
get into
why.
it. So, YouTube's making some terms of service changes, and I think there's been a lot of rumors around it. I think the toy community was really first in discussing it. Now I'm hearing a lot of gaming channels talking about the change. The long story short is there are rules and regulations, and YouTube was accused by the FTC of violating them. They got a heavy fine. Essentially, you know, they were found guilty for advertising to children.
They weren't accused because they got found guilty.
Okay, they were found guilty after being accused. But unfortunately, rather than taking those fines on the chin, YouTube is getting very aggressive with their creators. You know, I don't understand why they're so black or white with their rating systems here. I know there's a lot of YouTubers that are kind of paranoid about their content being labeled as children's content. I know the algorithms are labeling people's content as children's content. I really think the self-regulation, if you say your content is not for kids, it just doesn't get children's advertisements or advertisements targeted at children, that makes the most sense. And T, you've been a big advocate of saying that.
Yes. I feel like they're doing this purposely to get rid of regular uploaders because they want to get big. They want to keep their big time people. That's what I feel like.
Right.
So, newer people that want to come and upload content, when they hear all this stuff, that'll scare them off. And then older people, that'll have them leaving, like we heard the Foosh is leaving. But it's the fact that you can go in and click a button that says, my channel is not for kids. As soon as you click that button, something should go out and tell YouTube, hey, don't play toy commercials on this person's channel anymore. And don't collect data for anybody under 13, which they shouldn't have been doing in the first place, apparently.
Yeah. Well, I'm surprised, like, Google, I don't know if you heard it, but like 26 states, apparently Google is going to start collecting people's health information without them really knowing. The irony is, I just tell you to Google it. But you know, there's a lot of shady stuff that they're doing. Nate, with your channel, have you noticed any of your stuff being labeled as kids automatically or for kids automatically?
No, no, I went through the other day and looked at it. As far as the settings, changed it all to not kid friendly. But I
Yeah.
did have to go do a manual review of all my videos to see if any of them were kid friendly because I did have 4 or 5 toy hunts where my kid was with me, so I
Hmm.
did have to go label those kid friendly. Most of the stuff I do is mostly the demographics of 18 to 65. So I think most of mine isn't even looked at. I think T, you actually do have some people that watch yours that's under the age of 18. So
Yeah,
they might look at yours a little bit more stricter than they would mine.
I have 6%.
My thought here is, if you ever watch something like, South Park or Impractical Jokers, they always start the episode with a warning. Jackass did it too. Not to say that, the content on YouTube is anything like that, but to say, you know, the following channel is intended for the following channel adheres with YouTube's guidelines and regulations. However, the content is intended for mature audiences. Uh, Something along the line to say that this channel's for adult collectors. Um, you know,
You
and
advised.
yeah, like what Sony's saying here too, affecting of thousands of channels. I think that kind of goes into what you were saying, T, where they're just trying to weed folks out. And the way I see it, it's kind of interesting. We're seeing the streaming war going on right now. Everybody's got to have their own streaming site. And YouTube's probably going, well, we were the originals, and they've been pushing the YouTube Red content for years now. Not, maybe like 2 years. And it seems to me like they'd be content with just becoming another streaming service rather than being fueled by creators.
Which, of course, that was the whole
Well, I think
intent of
one thing
YouTube to begin with.
Yeah.
Well, the one thing that I was looking at too from this situation is we have an issue. You brought up the medical side, which is a HIPAA violation.
Yes.
This is a COPPA violation, where the COPPA says you will not, period, dot, you will not keep kids' information at all. And I know Zero, me and you work in the similar career fields. I work in a situation where I do HIPAA and those kind of work as well. And I will tell you for a fact, if you get caught with one violation, you are fined a lot more than $42,000 per video.
Oh yeah.
We have jail time and you name it. So the whole fine situation over, a child video, that they're actually taking an easy way out, because if they wanted to, they could actually prosecute you and put you in jail for it.
Yeah.
So the $42,000 is not I'm not saying that's not a lot of money, but I'm saying that is the least thing they could have done. The biggest issue we have though is that the way the rules are talking about it is that it's anything kid related. So toy hunts, toy reviews, toy anything still might get affected just because you say the word Spider-Man in your video.
Yeah.
And some kid might say, hey, I like Spider-Man, we don't know how that's going to really turn out yet. We really don't.
I think getting rid of the word toy and replacing it with collectible might be pretty effective.
I think it's dumb. There's so much stuff we won't be able to say, or anybody will be able to say or show.
No.
Period. So I think they need to come up with something else. Don't collect data from. How can they collect data from kids anyway? If you have to be a certain age to get an email address and all that.
It's the thing. It's like, in order to watch YouTube, you have to be logged in, or you have, you're on a device that has data, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to get a marginal amount of data from you. They're going to get location, and they may have other demographic information. If you're logged into YouTube, or if you're logged into a Google account, they're definitely going to have information on you. So they're going to collect watch time, and they're going to collect patterns, and that all counts. To see whether you're watching the ads or not.
Too. It's also the cookies.
Well, yeah, because that's how you get your ads popping up
on your computer.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know.
If I'm a
I think if they can't 100%
I was going to say, as an advertiser, they can look at that.
If they can't 100% prove that it's a child logged in, if somebody's using their mom's phone, like that should count as the mom using it. I don't even see how they could unless they're logged in like YouTube Kids, which on YouTube Kids they don't collect any data.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Google, I think Google isn't in the boat of being too big to fail. I think Google in the next 8 years is probably going to be a big, big, big target. And I say this with a lot of seriousness, and as somebody that works in the tech field, and a little bit of a conspiracy,
Once
fan.
once they realize how much after they finish with Zuckerberg.
Well, yeah, after they finish with Zuckerberg, but I honestly I don't think Facebook's going to go anywhere. I really don't. I think Facebook's going to be compliant, but Google is kind of running rampant. I mean, how many times have people said, "Oh, I thought about something, and then I saw an ad for it. I never searched for it." Hello, you put anything Google on this, and you think that your phone's in standby mode. I think there's enough evidence to suggest that they're actively listening in on you. They've turned anything into a listening device, and they've, probably not been incredibly transparent about that. And I think there are a lot of people in the government that want to break up big tech, and they're going to make an example out of Google because, Amazon offers the government a lot. Microsoft offers the government a lot. Facebook definitely offers the government a lot because Facebook's very compliant in giving them user information and solving crime. So there's a use for Facebook. There's a big time use for Facebook in collecting information. But Google really, if you think about it, they're kind of an outlier, and they represent that portion of big tech that's not really savory, and their practices are kind of questionable. And I think that we're going to start seeing the government make a big example out of Google. And we're going to see other video streaming sites take off. I think people are talking about BitChute right now. They're talking about Twitch. They're talking about, people are starting to talk about Vimeo
Solely
again.
Patreon.
Yeah, Patreon. I think we're going to start seeing more variety out there rather than one big. And it all comes in cycles. I mean, people thought MySpace was too big to fail, and it's gone. But I mean, I even think the Google searches are going to go, they're going to lose their importance because people are using DuckDuckGo because Google is doing so much filtering these days. I mean, you got to think about it. People used to use AOL search and they used to use Yahoo. And I know I have strayed far away from the action figure discussion topic because, I mean, hey, we are figure action. But, people have strayed far away are starting to stray away from, or they strayed away from Yahoo and AOL and Ask Jeeves because they got so much junk. And now when you do a Google search, you don't get that straight, direct result. You get a bunch of crap trying to sell you shit, and then you get what you're looking for, maybe.
Well, I mean, let's talk about those and the ramifications. I mean, it's been mentioned in the chat. We've mentioned it here. Probably one of the first people to actually really go public is Whoosh. Now they're going to be going solely Patreon.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, listen, we've got a major content provider here and a content provider there. You and I ain't major content providers. Sorry, Zero.
No, we're not. We never were. We're doing this for fun.
I know. But where I'm going at, though, is then you got, I mean, I'm going to say it. I really relied, Robo is one of my favorite people to go with. You got him. You got Toy Galaxy.
Yeah.
We're not going to talk about the full-time. We're not going to talk about the full-time reviewers just yet. But these are those guys I watch for entertainment.
Yeah.
Whoosh still has their website. I can still go there, but now I understand. I can't afford the Patreon. It's tossing a buck here, tossing a buck there, but that adds up.
We're gonna have to start using websites again, because of Facebook and YouTube. You don't have to use websites anymore because all the information is right there. Now we're gonna have to go to Whoosh.com and find his videos and whatnot.
But the nice thing is with social media, with Twitter, you have multiple places to send your audience there, to funnel your audience there. You just have to have the following.
I mean, you can still put and embed each and every one of your videos on your webpage. Like I used to have, and it's still up there, Star Screamer's rants on WordPress. It still occasionally gets traffic. I'm surprised. I used to always say with a written review, but then the video reviews took over. I'm almost wondering if a resurgence of the written reviews will come back.
I think we'll start seeing that. I think at the end of the day, you really just have people that are looking for guidance in what they buy. They want an influencer. They want someone to say, they want to find somebody whose tastes are similar to theirs, and they can steer them, into making good purchasing habits. So whether it's a video or whether you just fast forward to the end and see this figure is an A, buy it. This figure is an F, avoid.
But then we got people who have left the real world, left the workforce, and some people who never even started the real world who have been your YouTube influencers.
Yeah.
I mean, we all know what happened with Sean Long and Optibotimus trying to be YouTube celebrities. But then you got people like Jobby the Hong, who pretty much, I mean, he got his golden. I remember when he got his silver YouTube thing, which was a big deal for him and still awesome for him. But this is going to affect people like him.
Yeah, but when he had someone like that with such a following, he can go to any platform, and that following is going to go with him. You know?
And then you got Shartimus.
Same deal. Like wherever those two guys go, I still want to see their content.
So, I mean, yeah, he's going to have to get do a couple more sessions at Guitar Center, apparently.
Yeah.
Poor guy. And I think that's another thing. I'm having trouble. Do I want to feel sympathetic to them or not? Because at the same time, he sits at home and plays with toys while I have to get up in the morning and talk people into buying patio furniture in the middle of the winter.
There's a lot that people do with the production part of it, and it's a double-edged sword, right? Because like talking to Bolt Matrix, and
Both this was his hobby. This was not
right. It's always been his hobby, and he just ended up making money off of it. And you got to appreciate that. But you got to think back, right? There was a long time, even with the written reviews. I don't think anybody ever really got paid for their written reviews, right?
Nope.
So to think back, this all started, like the whole YouTube reviewing thing blew up because people were doing it out of passion. They just wanted to share their opinion.
Oh yeah.
That's all this is. I do appreciate people that put a lot of effort into it, and like you have Emgo, and sure, I wish I had that job, because at the end of the day, it's like he's buying a bunch of toys, but he does put a lot of effort into what he does, and he's buying a lot of toys, and he gets a bit back through ads, but
and his other sponsorship.
Yeah, and sponsorship. So,
but then you got I mean, Emgo's Emgo's one thing. As I said, I'm just a little torn because do I feel sympathy at the same time?
To me, I'm gonna feel like the same way I've been feeling. I've never gave anybody any money on Patreon. If you wanted, I'm too lazy. I hear people say, "Oh, click this link," and I appreciate the people that do click the link and whatnot. But I'm so lazy. I've never done that. But I'm not going to be against anybody who is getting money.
Oh yeah, no, not at all.
Because if somebody wants to do that, that's what they want to do.
I just wonder if it's going to be like if this is going to be like almost.
It's like I didn't start one yet.
You should, man.
Is this going to be the Darwinism of the reviewers?
You mean survival of the fittest?
Exactly.
I mean, I think so. I think we had this discussion a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I remember, you were trying to reinvent yourself, and I said, why? And it's really just a matter of sticking it out, because people, the people that go, they're going to go and they're going to abandon it, and then you're going to get their viewers, and something's going to come along where you'll either have a sponsor or you'll have the ad revenue to back you. And really, if if you love doing it, if it's fun, if it's a hobby, why not? I mean, Nate, if all this happened, if they really go Adpocalypse 3.0, are you going to quit, or are you just going to keep doing it for the love of doing it?
I don't make any money. I do it because I like to do it.
There you go.
Literally, I mean, it's cents on the dollar that you get for views and for whatnot, So unless you're hitting, 1,000, 2,000 views in every video and the watch time is up and you have a subscriber count, I mean, you don't make a whole lot of money off of YouTube. I mean, like I said, I've always done it just for everybody else out there to watch. I enjoy it. I have fun with it. For me, it's like when I went on those toy hunts with my kids, it was making memories, with my kids. That's how I always looked at it. It's a historical of what we've done. So even if I don't make no money, I'm still going to be here.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, everybody that started out on YouTube, that's how it was. They were just doing it for the love of doing it. I mean, I go back and sometimes I watch some of those old PIA videos from like 10 years ago when I really couldn't afford everything out there, and I had to be choosy with what I got, and that's why I started watching him. And
yeah, that was when it was more fun, when you couldn't afford to get all the toys, but you got to see them.
Yeah.
See everything about it. It was almost like toy porn.
That's a good way of putting it. Hey, welcome to the Fab Shop.
I mean, it was a different time back then.
Yeah.
You know what?
Oh, so much more innocent back then.
Matrix, Vangelis, and everybody else started.
As far as like the monetization thing, once I did decide to click the button to be monetized, it was like a dream in the back of my head, like, oh, this could be like almost like a part-time job or whatever. But then things did start picking up for me, but then they started having an adpocalypse first, then the earnings dropped, then they started coming back up, and now they got this junk going on. So it's like it's almost like it's meant not to succeed.
I think the sad part, or the sick part really, is that when YouTube demonetizes your video, they still put ads on it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And
they're still making money.
I think that's the sick part, is like the whole reason Adpocalypse happened was because of really bad information. Because YouTube, like Coca-Cola doesn't, necessarily have targeted ads. So, this whole came from like someone on the wall, a hit piece in the Wall Street Journal, and again, not to get into it, but there's content out there that's less than savory, and they'll still indiscriminately put ads on it based on the user's browsing history, and they didn't fix the problem. They just took away the monetization for they basically punished the masses over the misdeeds of a few.
If you read the fine print, it does say this video has limited or no ads. So they do tell you you're going to get limited ads.
In the past year, we now have dual ads. And it used to be you'd have a mid-roll ad, and now you have 4 mid-roll ads on most videos. So they've upped the ante with their advertisements to the nth degree. I mean, you have 2 ads at the start, and then sometimes on the 4 rolls, I'll get like 1 ad, and now you have 15-second unskippable ads. They really want people to buy the YouTube Premium.
Yeah. 5. I watched Tauntaun's review of Black Arachnia.
Yeah,
6. I didn't get the commercials, but I saw like 6 ad breaks in there. I was like, "Holy crap!"
For me, it's with my wrestling shows. Between What Culture and Cultaholic, and Wrestle Talk, You know, I'll watch a review for a show. I'll get those 6-7 ad breaks in there. So
the funny thing is, if you forget to push skip, if you push skip, they'll skip both ads. But if you forget,
that ad.
Yeah, you're going to watch that second one.
Yeah, that's kind of funny. Like, yeah, and I feel bad skipping ads on certain creators. You know, just because I try to watch the ads on a lot of the people I subscribe to, but it's just like some of them, they just take forever. And
if I'm at work and I'm just have the headphones in my ear, I'll end up watching the commercials by accident, like because I'm not really paying attention to it. So the commercial is planned for like 5 minutes sometimes, and I'm like, "What the heck am I even watching right now?" And I forgot what show I was watching.
We'll do that on my videos. Then.
The commercial came on, and the commercial was a 50-minute video.
Yeah.
Wow. For probably like a 3-minute long video.
And Sportimus, yes, they probably will be demonetized.
Yeah.
You talk about stop motion with toys? Oh yeah, because it's a toy.
Now, T, you're talking about getting on Amazon, and not Twitch, but like Prime Video.
Yeah.
What's the process like for that? Yeah, so the Angry Video Game Nerd, he went there because he wasn't subject to the censorship. And I mean, basically everybody these days has Amazon Prime. You're kind of it's kind of funny, but like if you don't have Amazon Prime, you're kind of almost like living off the grid. So what's like the process for doing that?
I haven't done it yet. Somebody gave me the link on Twitter. When I have time, I'm going to sit down and look into it. But what I was thinking about doing is downloading all of my T-Man's Toy Hunts and putting them up as like seasons, whatnot, by year.
Because Classic Game Room did that. He just got fed up with being on YouTube before the adpocalypse really got bad, and he moved all of his stuff there.
Is there a cost associated to that?
If it is, I'm not doing it. It should be like everything else, like Facebook. Like usually with everything else, if they allow you to monetize, you sign up and you make as much money as they're gonna give you with ads and whatnot. But if they never ask you to pay anything, and that's why I was scared to monetize with YouTube. I was thinking like I had to do a certain amount of videos or they start taking money from me.
So Sportimus has a good point there. You might want to look into that, whether you have to do a lot of reviews on Amazon first.
I have a few. I have a lot.
But also with you linking products in an Amazon store, you've actually been doing pretty good with that, right?
Yeah. If somebody, it's almost better than getting views on YouTube, to be honest. Like if I put up this guy right here and somebody buys it, but only 300 people watch my video and I only get like 50 cents from the video's views. But if 3 people buy him, that might be like $4 right there.
Yeah. That might actually be like some of the future of monetizing your content, provided YouTube doesn't. And that's one of the scary parts, right? That in this new terms of service is that if you're not making money, they can just indiscriminately delete your channel.
Yeah.
So
that in itself. Okay, so we don't find you're making money. Yeah, you're fired. And then we find you are making money, but not for the way we want you to make money. Hi, we'll fine you.
I feel like when they said that, when I was like really paying attention to the way it's worded, it seemed like stupid channels like Logan Paul or something. So if you're doing something so dumb where they cause you to take all your monetization away, that means that you're no longer of value to them, and then they'll shut your channel off.
Yeah.
That's at least what I was hoping they mean. Like if you're doing something stupid.
I think people though that are passionate about content creation and they want to monetize it, I think they'll find a way. It's like Jurassic Park. Life finds a way. So be it on Amazon, be it on Twitch. I think once enough people get on one platform, you're going to see an exodus to it.
Oh, absolutely.
Guarantee it. I say come 1 January, you're going to see probably a 5 to 10% drop.
Yeah.
Just in toy reviewers and toy
Absolutely.
hunters. Because
I'm going to say, go ahead.
I was going to say the reason why is because a lot of people don't know how to go and traverse through this actual apocalypse that's happening right now. Because it's not very clear. I mean, for a lot of people, especially in the toy community, of how does this affect me? Because I do toys, I do toy reviews, or I do whatnot, and it's like, well, if you say anything toy, it could be hit
right.
with this.
And the crazy part too is talking to people that have YouTube reps. Like Balt, he has a YouTube rep, and the rep and the lawyer don't really know. That's how vague it is. Like their verbiage is that vague. How absurd is that?
Well, yeah, was it Chefitron? He was saying when his rep was like, "You better start diversifying now."
Yeah. So, I mean, what does that mean for us if they say that we're not viable? I say we move to Twitter, we move to Facebook, we just go wherever StreamYard will take us. So our train's not stopping here. We're going to keep going. Be it BitChute. And honestly, I'm maybe toying with the idea of when we do this broadcast, have it go to YouTube, have it go to Facebook, have it go to Twitter, see where people like to watch us.
Yeah. And then this is just weird. I mean, I don't know. This is my, I don't want to say my paranoia, but it kind of makes me think of Walmart in a way. When it gets to a point where they have their people who get a certain level and get that certain pay grade, they try to find an excuse to fire them. So is this also YouTube finding a way to purge all the, as an excuse to be like, all right, if we save writing this guy a $50 check and this guy writing a $50 check, and we get rid of 1,000 people, we just saved ourselves $500,000.
Well, how many kids today, like a lot of kids today, like you ask them, what do you want to do when you grow up? They're like, I want to be a YouTuber. And while Google has a shit fuck ton of money, there's only so many pieces of the pie that they're willing to hand out. The more people you have at the table, less pie you got. So like T said, I really think that they're trying to weed people out because, if the more content, the sad part is YouTube was about anybody being able to have a platform. And when it started becoming about revenue and people wanting to make a living on here, it gets harder. The more people you have, the more voices you have, the harder it is to bring people in. And the irony is they want to stop, they're getting fined for targeting kids, but they still need to have target audiences.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think it's the opposite of what Starscreamer was saying. Since they aren't going to be able to monetize kids stuff because they don't want to have any more problems, that's why they want to get rid of us, because we're not making them money. Not because we're getting money.
Well, if you look at toy reviewers and toy hunts in general, I mean, how many people just click the skip button just because they just want to get to the actual content?
Well, that's with everything.
They don't actually watch the ad,
Yeah, because these kids now, they have zero patience for anything. I was watching Fine Brothers. They were talking about Disney Plus, and they had a wide range of people, old people to young kids. Everybody that was under 18, when they asked, do you binge a show, or are you cool with them doing like The Mandalorian once per week? And everybody under 18 was like, I binge. I like to binge. And they couldn't stand the idea of waiting a week.
I wonder how they're dealing with Disney Plus. with the staggered releases.
You know what? They got X-Men to watch.
That's true.
Yeah. Well, that's they said they didn't like that, the staggered release.
Oh, you know what?
You know why I bet they're doing it? Because that's their way of combating weak trials.
Yep.
Yep.
I mean,
I guarantee you, if you could get the whole thing in a week, just like you did with Netflix, how many people jumped and ran away?
yeah.
All right, it's all out. Give me 2 pots of coffee and a box of adult diapers.
I think if you watch the show all at once, you get, for me, when I do that, now I gotta wait like 8-10 months before the next season comes back. I'm bored.
Oh, yeah.
And I might jump off the ship. Like that's what happened to me with Walking Dead and Empire.
What about Rick and Morty?
They're actually good to the point where I want to keep watching right now.
Remember, you and I were binging Voltron together. We'd be sitting there texting each other back and forth. Oh my god!
But then their seasons didn't last that long. Like they weren't split up that. It would only be like 4 or 6. I mean, like 4 or 3 months before the next season comes back.
Right. Ooh, sorry.
One of the worst ones for me is the Venture Brothers, where they literally will go 3 years in between seasons.
Yeah, that and with Boondocks.
Yeah, yeah. You know,
hey, what about? I was gonna say, what about Firefly? We never got a new season of Firefly after Serenity.
They wrote an ending with Serenity. You got your ending.
But yeah, the thing about the Boondocks, I was always worried about Ed Asner. You know, I was like, yeah, they're not going to finish that Mr. Onceler arc. And, you know, because Ed Asner's up there. And then we lost Charlie Murphy, and I was like, oh, man, that sucks.
And then we lost Grandpa.
Yeah, and then you lose John Witherspoon, and that's the worst part of it. Now, he was on Joe Rogan like 5 months ago talking about how the Boondocks was coming back, so I'm wondering if he's already recorded any of it.
Hope or his... I don't know if you've seen in that same... I saw a clip from that same interview.
With his son?
Yeah. And
his son does a good
impression.
Yeah, so hopefully they get his son.
Because he lives with him, so he knows them in and out.
Yeah. So did they ever determine the cause of his death?
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
because he was like 70-something. So, yeah.
He had he's 78. He had a YouTube channel, and he did like cooking. And like 3 days before he died, he had a video. And
what was the last thing he recorded? Was it ribs?
No, I can't remember what it was. I think it was like a sandwich or something. But
okay, just saying.
Yeah, you know. But at any
put a
rate,
whole stick of butter on there. Yeah, he died of a heart attack.
Right. At any rate, he seemed like he was pretty healthy. So but you never know with people. Anyway, we want to. I guess we're doing an inverse show here. So I guess we want to talk about Disney Plus and The Mandalorian?
Sure.
So, I ended up with Disney Plus. No spoilers. So this is a spoiler-free impressions, right? So if you're on the fence about watching Mandalorian, and again, everybody in the chat, please no spoilers in the chat for anybody watching live. We're just here to talk first impressions. I initially was going to wait for everything to wrap because, you know, like what we were just saying, I like to binge shows. Like if I like it, I want to see it all. So I was like, yeah, I'll just wait till December and I'll come about getting it.
I'm enjoying the slow burn.
Me too.
I watched it today because my girlfriend was going back and forth with getting Disney Plus, and with our Verizon or her Verizon account, we got a year because of how she signed up for it. So I watched the episode today at lunch, and I'm just gonna say it. This is the best anything Star Wars since 2005. I mean, it's possibly the best. As far as anything Star Wars related, it's the best thing since the original trilogy. And I say 2005 because I was blown away by Gennady Tartakovsky's Clone Wars, that little miniseries he did. I absolutely loved it. You know, I think what was the year we got? Well, we got Knights of the Old Republic in 2004. 2003, 2004. No, it's probably 2004. But and I still really like Revenge of the Sith. I don't think it's great cinema. I think it's good, but not great. But just watching the show, I love the intimacy of the sets. I loved the buildup that they had. I love the world building that they did, like what they do, the little references, the little things in the background. It didn't feel like fan service. It just felt like part of the world, and it didn't beat you over the head with anything. There were just so many. There were cool nods, but they weren't excessive, and just the way they were starting to introduce the characters. Carl Weathers is in it as and again, you don't necessarily know what he is, but like when he shows up, he's just got such a presence. And Werner Herzog, man,
that Werner Herzog, that guy is one of the most influential directors from Germany.
Documentary maker.
Documentary maker. He also he worked a ton with Klaus Kinski.
He was on Rick and Morty talking about penis sizes.
But it's just thank you for derailing.
He did. That was the episode where like they were gonna take Jerry's penis and testicles to make a new heart for Shirbly Pibbles. And he's like, the humans of Earth, they just care about the penises. They give the penises names. They say, my Mr. So-and-so is bigger than your Mr. So-and-so.
You just kind of took the wonder out of having him as a character in Star Wars. But
have you seen that episode of Rick and Morty?
And
it's fantastic.
No, I haven't. And then you got Nick Nolte out of frickin' nowhere.
Yeah.
We won't talk about his.
Are y'all talking about the guy who had the stormtroopers around him?
Yes.
His voice is so awesome to listen.
Yes. I would say my favorite aspect of it all.
He's like a grandfatherly Tim K.
My favorite aspect of this show was the pacing.
Yes.
You get just a little bit of action in the beginning. You get your exposition. You get a little bit of this is what's going on. This is what Huey is. They definitely give a very nice aspect of this is the rest of the universe. This is not really. I think I can say this without it being a spoiler. When they're talking about being paid, would you agree that this is not a spoiler?
Well, he's a bounty hunter from the promos,
right? But when they're talking about specifically, he wants to get paid in Imperial currency, and the Mandalorian's like, why?
Yeah.
That's just like because the rebels just blew up everything that kind of disrupted the Empire, so Imperial currency isn't that. I mean, things like that I liked, and then you got the beginning, you got that little mini stuff, and then you get a lovely ending of action.
I want to see the next episode.
And you know what? I'm kind of glad because I enjoy sleeping.
Yeah.
Feed me a little bit. I will appreciate this. Someone took time. This had $100 million budget. They pace out their budget. The CGI is used sparingly.
Yes.
The cost. Oh my gosh! And all the Easter eggs in there.
So what I enjoyed. To compliment what you said was the dialogue, and a lot of people love Rogue One, and they love Rogue One because that Vader payoff. I
liked it more. Not
to spoil anything about the Mandalorian, but there's I think that shootout is going to be like one of the most iconic shootouts in Star Wars history, and the dialogue that happened during the shootout, like one of my biggest gripes, and I know like Red Letter Media
I can't say anything.
Red Letter Media beat it to death. But in Rogue One, there's just no dialogue during the shootouts. There's no dialogue during the action, and they cut back to A New Hope, and you thought about, man, when all the quips that Han would have during the shootouts.
Oh, yeah.
Like, so the Mandalorian, he is not Han Solo. But a very Star Wars thing is just, people being fast and talking through shootouts. And there's just like this chemistry with characters, and you get invested in them because there's stuff to say,
Even brief chemistry, you're all of a sudden invested with them.
Yeah. And
that ending sold a ton of toys, probably. I know.
well, the show is gonna sell a ton of toys because, like, I was like at the end of it, like, I need to get myself an IG-11.
Yes.
You know.
Better go to Best Buy.
What's that date?
Better go to Best Buy fast before they're all sold out.
Yeah, I do need to get a Best Buy.
Yeah,
I
and
don't even
you
have
got
the Mandalorian.
So I got a question. When is this staged at? Like between what episodes?
right after Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
So that's what I said. You're seeing the impact of the fall of the Empire. So that's why he didn't want to take Imperial credits. He ended up having to take calamari credits, where it's like, hey, listen, I only have half as much. And he's like, I'm going to take that because I know it's going to be sound.
Yeah.
They actually delve a little bit in the Mandalorian culture, which is like things I've been begging for. This, they go to a compound of Mandalorians, and it's just as cool as it sounds. So
they didn't get deep yet. I said on that part they didn't get super deep.
You phased out, T.
Can you hear me now?
I've been hearing you fine the whole time.
Maybe it's my internet. Sorry.
Yeah, but to that point, I like having that element of mystery. I like having to put stuff together in my head. And like with the new trilogy, all you've got is who's Rey's parents? Where'd the Snoke come from? In this, they did, they did a lot to just keep you enticed. They kept giving you enough of like, who is this guy? And they give you a little flashback sequence, but it just makes you, I hope that there's things in this that stay mysterious, because I enjoy the prequel trilogy, but I don't love it. And thinking back, I'm like, with the original trilogy, I enjoyed making up Vader's backstory in my mind more than actually seeing it on film. So I hope that they take some of those elements and have that in the series where your mind fills in the blanks. Like you get big story, but your mind is left to fill in like some of the pieces of it.
I'll tell you, that's one of my favorite moments when he says, Luke, I am your father, and it's like, holy shit. What does that mean?
Right. That I don't think we're gonna get a moment like that in this, just of how, again, I've only seen the first episode, but let's just say this: the way the episode ended, you have no idea where they're going with this.
Yeah,
in a wonderful way. You think the show is going to be trite. I was watching a great review of it from Screen Stalker, and they were just comparing this to being a space western. You mentioned Firefly before. But you mentioned the with Firefly. This is so much more of a space western. You got the
even
pacing.
The music.
Oh God! Don't even. The music is epic. This is a beautiful soundtrack. Very Star Warsy, but it's like everything but John Williams, which is, I love that, because they're trying not to be. There's certain tropes they're not using. They don't have the screen crawl. You don't have the you don't have the huge symphonic, but you get all the other little background stuff.
That's what I was gonna say. The show felt like, usually with Star Wars, everything feels grand and epic. This feels like regular people that interact with Star Warsy stuff.
It's the snapshot of what's going on with the rest of the galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what I liked about Rogue One. It was a story within the Star Wars thing. It wasn't the only story. You get to see it from a different point of view.
Oh, this is even more. This is like far collateral damage. This is like, okay, the Empire strikes here. What are those ripples going through? This is that ripple about 2 miles away. From the butterfly effect of all that.
I'm just gonna say, Jon Favreau is like, man, his writing on this, and then Dave Filoni as a director, they got it. I mean, I've probably come off as a hard guy to please when it comes to Star Wars, and
just ask Ryan.
Yeah. No, and I was excited about that too, because I enjoyed Brick, and I enjoyed the penultimate episode of Breaking Bad.
Mhm.
Thought Looper was okay, but we're not going to talk about Last Jedi here. That's not,
I'm messing with you.
I know, but I am excited for episode 9. I'm excited for the return of JJ. I did enjoy episode 7 quite a bit, and I'm curious to see how he wraps it all up.
Oh, and then just because we're on topic, raise a hands. Who's picking up Star Wars this weekend?
I don't know.
I am. I mean, I gotta get that. It's gonna be hard juggling that, Pokemon, and the weirdest game of all time, Death Stranding.
I might skip Pokemon. The last few Pokemon I've purchased, and then I get halfway through, just quit. Like when I'm in an area where I can actually play it, I'm playing it like going through all that text and just pushing the button while the character moves and doing it. It's so boring.
Oh, forget about Pokemon right now, and we're talking Star Wars right here. I mean, this is the first Star Wars game I've been excited about. We got the crew from the original Modern Warfare making it. Titanfall 2 had a phenomenal single-player game, and they're doing Star Wars. I mean,
I want it, but I might have to wait, given the time period of when this is coming out.
Well, True Starscreamer is my PSN ID, so hopefully by Saturday I'll have all the updates in there, and I'll be playing live and then trying the multiplayer eventually. So,
from what I've seen, I do want to play it. It looked way more fun than anything I've seen Star Wars related in a long time, besides The Force Unleashed.
Oh, Force Unleashed, how it could have been.
I was so sad after the second game.
Fortunately, guys, duty calls for me. I got to step away for a minute.
My PC is nuts.
I was so hoping for a third one of the Force Unleashed, but seeing the Fallen Order reminds me of the Knights of the Old Republic.
Exactly. Oh, I still love that game. I still have the disc. I can't part with it. My Xbox hasn't seen the light of day in almost over 10 years, but I still can't part with that disc.
I still have it on PC.
They put one of those games on the Switch recently. I forgot what game that is. But you're running around, you're a Jedi, and you can swing your lightsaber around. It looks nuts.
Well, I used to love the Jedi Academy games back in the day. Jedi Academy 3 was like was the perfect Star Wars game. That and TIE Fighter. Oh God, TIE Fighter kept me up all night.
I played that TIE Fighter game for like 5 days straight. I don't think without any sleep, because it was one of those addicting games, and that's when I was a huge PC gamer too. Back then. So I literally did all the Jedi Academies, and I got Knights of the Old Republic, and then I got TIE Fighter. I'm like, this is freaking amazing. And then we had no Star Wars games for almost 10 years until Force Unleashed came out. And then we got the sad Battlefronts that came out, which I bought and returned in about the same day.
Battlefront 1, I didn't even touch Battlefront 2. I didn't even touch that. But, I mean, it's going to be... Well, okay, you mentioned Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
Let's hijack another topic. I don't think it's on the docket. But with Pokemon, Pokemon had a great video game movie. Who here watched the new Sonic trailer?
Me.
Goddamn.
Way better.
I gotta say, I'm ready to take my daughter because I want to say thank you to Paramount. I do not want them to bomb this. They took a damn good chance. I mean, you saw they got one of the top Sonic designers to redo it, and somehow seeing that cartoony design worked with the cartoony Jim Carrey. The plot's still going to be horrible, but it looks so much more visually better than when it showed Sonic in the Sonic world. Actually seeing him do the loop.
That and The whole trailer was way better than the first one. It was way more Sonic, and it felt like way more interesting and funny. And they made sure that, I guess they were so proud of what they did, they made sure that they did a ton of close-ups on his face and whatnot. The camera stayed on him. And some of the stuff, like that part where he was in the bar throwing the darts, when he had on like the cowboy hat and the long shirt, I was like, that is so something that would happen in the 90s cartoon.
I'm actually looking forward to that scene with all the missiles, and he's like going super fast, and he's doing the whole board tapping his foot scene with him looking like that.
Do you think we're going to see Tails in this episode or Knuckles?
Maybe at the very, very end.
Like when he goes back to his world.
Mm-hmm. But they also put some stuff out there. On the first trailer, it said he came there to save our world. But then in this trailer, it says he left because people were always trying to take his powers.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, what threat is that? Something they just randomly threw in there? Well, what threat is he running from his world if Robotnik wasn't there?
It would be wonderful if Robotnik actually was his world and he transferred to this world to chase after him.
Well, I kind of think it is that way, actually. I think Botnik was in Sonic's world, and then he's now here to get him.
But it seems like, I don't think that, because it seemed like he was already established. Because he had all that equipment and everybody, he had a bunch of people working under him. Unless he transferred years ago.
And then we got Jim Carrey, Robotnik. We got Jim Carrey being crazy, wacky Jim Carrey again. Not Mr. High and being ultra serious. No, it's.
Yeah,
I want to take my daughter to this movie. Paramount, I think, they have earned my $16. You know, they took the chance of delaying the movie, and I think I don't think I've ever seen, you know, how much would we have killed if Michael Bay had done this, you know? So
I'm glad Michael is related to this.
No, but I'm just saying I think this is definitely a company listening to fan backlash and doing it right for the fans. We might actually have a good video game. Well, actually, Detective Pikachu is pretty good. I heard. So we're getting good video game movies. I never thought I would see that happen, to be honest.
I think if it was Michael Bay, the fart jokes would be right up front in that trailer.
Oh, God.
And other bodily fluids. Like, this is Sonic. Get out of here. Or the Ninja Turtles. We can have adult conversations.
It looks like they're just having fun.
Yeah. To talk about any type of action figure stuff, did y'all, either one of y'all watch that Black Arachnia review?
I did. I laughed at it. I mean, his voice is, I think. I kind of preferred his digitized voice a lot better than his real one.
I just still can't muster the price point on those these Masterpiece Beast Wars. Well, actually, the new Masterpiece 2.0s in general.
Yeah, Takara's price. Of that stand. That stand must be $50.
But Takara's pricing me out. I mean,
I can't remember what the price is. You remember, Nate?
With the Amazon, I think it was 80 or 90, wasn't it?
I hope that's true, because it's like 140 everywhere else.
Yeah, but that's the U.S. price.
Yeah.
I don't think I've actually remember the last time I bought a Takara thing in the U.S. To say the truth, because I mean, usually anytime I buy something that's from over there, it's either Amazon Japan Ami Ami, HLJ, Nippon, or Anime Export or something like that. I always import it in. It's always cheaper.
But one thing, for criticisms on the actual toy, that spider mode is like, yikes. He was saying that it looked good or whatever, but I'm like, ew. It looks like a spider a little bit. But yeah.
I still like the Chug Black Arachnia, the one that was based off the animated mold, to be honest.
I think that the Car Legend one looks better.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. The one that came out with Nightbird and Slipstream.
Only thing I didn't like about her is since they retooled her, her waist was like this thin, and her boobs were always, her mandibles were boobs in the spider mode. I'm like, that's weird. All right, I'm trying.
Yeah, I think the big thing though with the masterpiece one is that butt on it. It looks bad.
In robot mode?
And no, in alt mode. I don't know. It's like it's a big mess in the back just put together.
Yeah, that's what it. Even from the front, like usually front on, they make the things look perfect. But this one front on, that once they get to the abdomen, it looks crazy. But I guess she'll be a robot mode all the time.
Oh yeah. Curiosity, any questions from the chat since we're talking randomly, awkwardly?
And I do have control over the end button. We are getting close to that point.
Well, let me look at TFW real fast. I don't know if you guys say anything on the docket or not.
Yeah, I'm desperately trying to open the link. I'm seeing if I could use screen sharing, but
I'm just having fun with Impactor and Weaponizers right now in Battle Masters.
You're just
I opened him up last week. I'm just having fun with him. This is still a solid figure.
I know I just got charged for 8 face, so he should be coming soon.
Oh yeah. I got a notification, but they have my old card, so they weren't able to charge me.
Nightwing, Dana Charge Red. I do like the figure, except on mine, one of his shoulders doesn't want to move all the way up, and I'm really scared to mess with it. But aside from that, it's a solid figure. I mean, I really enjoy. Hold on. Here we go. Got Dana Charge Red right here. And this elbow here doesn't want to move fully, but fortunately the butterfly joint compensates for that.
You need a hair dryer on that elbow.
It's weird. It's not the elbow joint, sorry, the shoulder joint. The shoulder joint doesn't want to open all the way under here. The armor seems to be blocking it. I mean, I have the Figure Arts version of this as well. And one of the things I like with the Figure Arts one is you actually unplug one arm and put a armored version on the other. T-Man, did you just get rid of all of us?
No, we're still here,
We all went bye-bye.
You can hear us, please. Yeah, I don't know.
But so yes. But Nightwing, yes, Dino Charge Red is a great figure. And it still hits all the details I like.
I was gonna say the other thing.
Changer is he's only painted on one side. It's kind of weird, but I can pan paint the Black Lightning on the other side.
T, what did you do?
Screw up my laptop. Decided to freeze on this screen sharing thing, but at least y'all can still hear us.
Exactly.
Now we're real. Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say the one thing I did see today is that they showed off that other version of Devil's Savior compressor, the Revenge of the Fallen Overload. The other version looks like to compare with the Studio Series for Devastator. It actually looks really good. It looks a lot better than the Studio Series one. Tell you the truth.
I'm sure the plastics are going to be better than the Studio Series one.
I guarantee it will be. And it's weird because it's like this is number 3 out of the set, but they used to be called a different company. Used to be known as Bumblebee. They had I guess, images of one called Split, which was Mixmaster, and another one that was Giant Axe, which was Scavenger. So, like I said, they look good. It's just we can't show it to you because T screwed up his laptop.
What figure is that again?
It is from today. If you scroll down a little bit, it is the Devil Savior DO3 compressor. It's their take of Revenge of the Fallen Overload. I gotta say, I give it to him on the name for Devil Savior.
That sounds like something from the Japanese Transformers after season 4.
Yeah. Devil Savior versus Good Ginrai.
Transformer!
Get tight. But
this
hey, there we are.
Hey, there you go. You fixed it.
But do we want to end it? Because I have a phone call. I'm saying.
Out.
He's getting laid, folks.
I don't know.
Getting his booty call.
Bow tie. Bow tie.
Well, thank you all for listening to us.
Thank you, everyone.
You can catch us every Thursday. T-Man, click on the videos while you still can.
Yeah,
Nate,
exactly.
He's everywhere. Syndicate. And of course, me on Instagram, True Star Screamer. We'll see you all next week. On behalf of Zero, give us a like, give us a subscribe while you still can, and
buy our shirts.
We'll see you. Buy our shirts. We'll see you next week.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Peace. T-Man.
Yeah.
I know the girls